Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Ross Cook, the founder of Ross Cook Balancing. I'd like to welcome you to our discussion tonight, all pieces and parts of a 5-part series we've thrown out in the last 5 nights. I am the guy that I help people, and particularly high-level entrepreneurs. And I want them to be able to grow through self-sabotaging and difficult, challenging, limited behaviors. And I want you to grow through sabotaging belief systems and behaviors that are destructive to what they want to do. We want them to then grow sustainable, profitable, happy businesses. And we want them to live value-based, healthy lives. And we can help people do that by teaching inner journeying. Remember that there are a lot of entry points in the world as you attempt to grow and go through this world and all the convoluted challenges and different densities you're going to run into. The most important thing is to start where you are in the given moment and just begin right there. Okay? We've been talking for the last 5 nights about how do you go home successfully. The first night we talked about the wisdom of silence and just learning to do that slightly differently. Then we talked about dreams and possibilities and how there's sometimes our possibilities are only in the familiar. They're only in the practical that's near us. They're in the pragmatic. And we're attempting to push out, but they're in things we already know. We just want a little bit more. And that's as big as our possibilities get. And I think if you infiltrate those ideas and dreams and hopes with the concept of dreams, dreams are expansive and they bring a new energy to the whole idea of endeavoring to something great. You know, there's an old Irish song prayer that says, may we hope for more than we know. In other words, they know that what they know is convoluted. So we have the courage to hope for more than we know. Okay. Then we talked about stopping on the way home, driving home and stopping and just taking time to breathe and build an expectation of what it's going to be like at home versus what you would like it to be at home. And if there's some little bumps and challenges that come up or some disconnects, stop and breathe with them and stay with them until they get disquieted and they become, something nurturing and wonderful, and then head on home. Then we talked about the choices of possibility. And we used a number of examples about how to pay attention and what to pay attention to. What we didn't discuss was one little piece of that is there are 4 levels in how you listen to people. And so you may be talking to someone and then they drift off and you may think, like kids or whatever, and then you may think they're not paying any attention to you. Well, the 3rd level of the 4 steps of great listening is incubation, which means you've said something to them and they've taken it in and now they're remunerating it and they're associating it inside their own mind. And then they're going to come back with their connection to what it is if you can keep the conversation together and in flow and open long enough. Tonight I want to talk about the safety tree. So going home tonight is about a safety tree. When a little baby, if you take a mom to a park and she has a little baby who's just a toddler, you put a blanket down and the mom sits on the blanket and the baby's on the blanket with her. The baby will get up and walk over here. And then when the baby wants to go somewhere else, they first come back to the blanket, then they go out. And then they want to go somewhere else. They come back to the blanket and then they go out. Okay? That's how they are learning to experience their world. Well, it doesn't change that much as we go through our growth periods. Up till about 9, the kid's power of the smile is the most powerful thing in the child's life. And so they come back to the parent situation. Then friends and peers become very important, and they come back to that hub group and then go out, and come back to that hub group and go out. Well, you can keep your family one of those hub groups, even though you're not all the same age as your kids. You have to do it. Think of a tree. It has a big trunk, and then it has branches that go out. It's very difficult for a kid of any age to go out on the end of one branch of a tree and then jump to the other far edge of another branch. That's not how they would do it. And by they're going to push to the edges. It's natural. And it's natural for us to want to put our arms around them and protect them. really we have to let them get to the edges. We have to let them experience what it's like to push out there, because they're not all that comfortable going out there, nor are they abysmally blind to what's going on. They're searching and they're pressing, and you have to let them have those challenges and those wins and some of those losses by not allowing them to have those things. Now, granted, we want to keep them absolutely safe, but nevertheless, they have to learn to win and lose in this game. They have to find out what it's like to achieve and to not achieve. And so think of it as a tree. And so you might go home, and as you're going home, get ready, because you might have kids halfway out on a branch and one thing, they may be pushing to an edge. You may have someone returning back to the family clan, kind of for what the family honors and gives that kid in value base. If it's just you and a significant other, believe me, relationships push out and grow down many branches of a tree simultaneously, and part of a personality might be retreating and returning while another one might be pressing out. You don't get to any of that if you're not the first four things we talked about here. If you don't use silence for wisdom, if you don't keep enough energy in the possibility and the dreams of what's happening, if you're not willing to stop and breathe with something that's different, and you have to keep choice alive. So I want you to think of the freedom tree as the final step to going home successfully. Where are they on the tree? And don't just wander in and just kind of bang into the tree. Notice it beforehand and be curious, so that whether they're moving out or moving toward, whether they're moving toward something or away from something, just be curious and be open so that you can be a part of the main part of that tree and that major support, because we still want to build those safe harbors and those safe structures for the kids to go out and be able to always return in safety and press out, challenge themselves in the world, and come back and always keep that structure. That's what we want. And some of that structure is going to involve some of that pushing away from the structure, because kids are pushing out to find power. Some of that's going to seem a little edgy and a little challenging, and you're going to want to huddle them and grab them and keep them safe. And sometimes the best thing you can do for them is to be the solid trunk of the tree and the big thick part of the branches, and just let them know where you are and let them extend themselves and let them return. Okay? It's been a nice week thinking about these number of things. I've liked bringing some continuity to this. If this makes sense to you, drop some comments on this, or as most of my clients do, text me, or go to rosscookbalancing.com. There's a place in there that you can check some boxes and leave notes, and we'll get notified and get right back to you. I hope you're progressively more well. It is my intention in doing these talks to just put different ideas out there and allow you to do with them what you want. They are things that are part and parcel of my life, and I've worked them one way or another, successfully or not, and they've become a part of what we've taught over the last 26 years. And I offer them to you so that you can be progressively more well, and then weller, and then weller from there. I believe in you. If no one's told you today that they believe in you, I believe in the possibility of you. You can do it. I'm Ross Cook of rosscookbalancing.com, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.